In the faraway lands across the oceans, nestled between towering mountains and lush rivers, lay the legendary island of Camelot. It was a place of extraordinary beauty, and nature itself seemed to glow with vibrant life. The kingdom stood proudly, like a bridge connecting two great mountains with a river flowing beneath its feet. The people of this kingdom lived in harmony with the land, surrounded by wealth, health, and prosperity. What set this kingdom apart, however, was not just its beauty or abundance, but the marvel of its technology. A flying machine called the Plane. Powered by human strength, this incredible invention could soar through the skies. With a pedal-powered system that rotated the propellers and flapped the wings, it was a sight to behold. Only the strongest, most disciplined warriors could fly it, for it required both great muscular strength and remarkable endurance. Every year, the kingdom celebrated its harvest with a grand competition. The Plane Warrior Race was the event of the year, where young men and women tested their strength and skill to become the elite Plane warriors. The top 10 finishers would be honored with the title of Plane Warrior, revered for their fitness and strength. For generations, the royal family had taken part in the competition, and each time, one of the royal heirs would rise to the challenge, securing their place among the top 10 warriors. This tradition stood unbroken until the day Prince Dhivith Ashmayu was born. From a young age, Dhivith was a lively and mischievous boy, beloved by the people of Camelot. However, there was one problem. He did not respect food. Unlike the other children, who ate wholesome meals to build strength and endurance, Dhivith often neglected his food. As the years passed, Dhivith grew older, but his weakness was evident. When the time came for him to participate in the Plane Warrior Race as a teenager, his body lacked the strength needed to compete. Still, he was determined. The people adored him, and Dhivith longed to prove that he, too, could join the ranks of the kingdom's greatest warriors. The day of the race arrived, and the air was thick with excitement. Dhivith, full of confidence, took his place among the competitors. But as the race began, it was clear that he was struggling, his pedaling weak. Dhivith fell further and further behind. For the first time in history, the prince came in last place. The people, though kind-hearted, could not hide their disappointment. Dhivith's heart sank. He had failed in his dream to become a Plane warrior, and the weight of his defeat was crushing. But that night, as he lay awake, he made a vow to himself. He would train harder. He would honor the food, respect his body, and become the warrior he was meant to be. For the next year, Dhivith dedicated himself fully. He ate well, trained tirelessly, and pushed himself harder than ever before. Slowly but surely, his body grew stronger. His endurance grew, and he found himself enjoying the food that had once seemed so unimportant. Finally, the day of the Plane Warrior Race arrived once more. Dhivith stood at the starting line, confident and ready. This time, there would be no failure. As the race began, he surged ahead, his plane flying faster and higher than anyone had ever imagined. His strength and speed were unmatched, and the crowd cheered in amazement as he soared through the sky. But Dhivith had something even more remarkable in mind. As he approached the finish line, something inside him pushed him further. He pedaled harder, his legs burning with effort, his heart racing. He aimed for the highest heights, higher than anyone had ever reached before. The plane carried him up, above the mountains, into the skies where few had ever dared to go. As he flew above the peaks, something caught his eye. Below, hidden deep in the forest, Dhivith saw a fleet of enemy soldiers, poised and waiting to strike the kingdom. The enemies had not noticed him. No one had. The enemies believed they had the element of surprise, but Dhivith had spotted them from the sky. Realizing the danger, Dhivith immediately turned his scyplane around and flew back to the kingdom. His heart pounded as he raced to warn the king. As soon as he landed, he informed his father of the impending attack. Thanks to Dhivith's quick thinking, the kingdom was able to launch a surprise attack on the enemies, catching them off guard and saving Camelot from destruction. From that day on, Dhivith became known as the elite scyplane warrior prince. His strength, wisdom, and bravery were celebrated by all, and the people of Camelot hailed him as a hero. Dhivith had learned the most valuable lesson of all, that good food, discipline, and hard work were the keys to strength. When the scyplane warrior race came around, Dhivith was there as a symbol of the power of perseverance, respect for food, and the strength that comes from within.